The night sky over Earth glimmered with countless stars, a silent backdrop to the chaos unfolding on the ground. Inside the United Nations Orbital Command Center, the tension was palpable as representatives from every nation crowded around a massive holographic display. On it, a towering alien figure loomed, its multifaceted eyes scanning the room as though dissecting the species it had come to address. "I am Zirichthal," the alien's voice buzzed, reverberating through the room. "Speaker for the Galactic Council. Your species has been deemed a potential threat to cosmic stability. The Council demands tribute to ensure your continued existence." Gasps rippled through the assembly. Captain Lena Marsden, the commander of Earth's orbital fleet, remained silent, her steely gray eyes fixed on the hologram. She was a woman of action, not words, and her instinct screamed that this wasn't just a negotiation. It was a death sentence wrapped in protocol. "What kind of tribute?" asked Secretary General Monroe, his voice betraying a rare crack of fear. Zirichthal's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement. "Resources. Technology. Subservience. You may choose, but failure to comply will result in your eradication. Submit, or face the consequences." Dr. Ravi Shah, standing in the corner with his perpetually disheveled hair and rumpled lab coat, whispered to no one in particular, "Cosmic extortionists." "Fantastic." The room erupted in debate, voices clashing in a cacophony of fear and indignation. Aya Nakamura, a young cultural envoy with a knack for finding beauty in chaos, stepped forward. "We're more than what they see," she said softly, her voice barely cutting through the noise. "They think we're primitive, but they don't understand us." Jack Carter, leaning against the wall with arms crossed, snorted. "They don't need to understand us to wipe us out. We need to fight." A former Black Ops soldier with a reputation for insolence, Jack's irreverence masked a sharp tactical mind. Lena raised a hand, commanding silence. "Enough. This isn't a debate. It's a decision. Humanity's decision." She stepped forward, facing the alien hologram. "Zirichthal, tell your council. Humanity refuses." The room froze. Even Jack looked startled. Zirichthal tilted his head, his segmented eyes glittering. "Refusal is unwise." Lena's expression hardened. "Then we'll learn to be wise the hard way." The hologram flickered and vanished. In the aftermath, the command center buzzed with frantic activity. Earth's leaders convened emergency meetings, while scientists and engineers raced to analyze the limited data they had on the Galactic Council's technology. Amid the chaos, Lena pulled Ravi, Aya, and Jack into a side room. "We need a plan," Lena began. "Not just to defend ourselves, but to show them we're not easy prey." Ravi adjusted his glasses, frowning. "From what little we've seen, their tech is centuries ahead of ours. Shields, weapons, propulsion. They're playing chess while we're stuck with checkers." Aya interjected. "But technology isn't everything. We have creativity, resourcefulness. Things no algorithm or hive mind can replicate." Jack smirked. "Let me guess. You want to beat them with interpretive dance and slam poetry." Aya met his gaze with a calm intensity. "Maybe. Because while you're thinking about how to blow things up, I'm thinking about how to make them hesitate. Confusion can be a weapon too." Jack raised an eyebrow, but said nothing. Lena nodded. "We'll need all of it. Ravi, focus on reverse engineering anything we can salvage once the fighting starts. Aya, work with communications. If you can find a way to disrupt their cohesion, do it." "Jack," she paused, knowing full well what she was asking. "You'll lead a team for unconventional strikes. Hit them where it hurts." Jack gave her a lopsided grin. "My favorite kind of mission." A week later, the first wave of the Galactic Council's fleet entered Earth's orbit. Massive ships blotted out the stars, their smooth surfaces gleaming ominously. Humanity's response was swift though uneven. Orbital defense platforms opened fire, sending streaks of energy toward the invaders. The alien ships didn't flinch, their shields absorbing the onslaught like rain against glass. In the command center, Lena stood at the helm, her voice calm despite the chaos. "Shift to pattern Delta. Focus fire on their flanks." Ravi, monitoring the data streams, muttered, "Their energy output is off the charts. Our weapons barely scratched them. Aya, sitting at a nearby terminal, was deep in thought. What if we don't just fight them head-on? What if we make them doubt their approach? How? Ravi asked, his tone skeptical. Aya tapped her screen, pulling up a visual of Earth's cultural achievements. Art, music, stories. We show them what it means to be human. Our resilience, our unpredictability, our chaos. Jack, joining via comms from his strike ship, quipped, "Sounds like a distraction play." I'm in. As the battle raged on, Aya's idea took shape. Broadcasts of human creativity flooded the alien frequencies. Beethoven's symphonies blared across their channels, juxtaposed with scenes from Earth's history, revolutions, inventions, acts of defiance. The aliens, unused to such disordered input, faltered. Meanwhile, Jack's team executed daring hit-and-run attacks, using stealth technology Ravi had hastily adapted from alien wreckage. Their targets weren't the heavily armored battleships, but the smaller logistics vessels, fuel carriers, command relays. "We're seeing cracks," Ravi reported, his voice tinged with disbelief. "Their fleet's movements are less coordinated." "It's working." Lena allowed herself a rare smile. "Then let's give them more to think about." As the first day of battle ended, Earth remained defiant. The Galactic Council had expected a quick subjugation, but found themselves facing a species that refused to play by the rules. Zarek Thal received the updates with growing irritation. "Primitive apes," he hissed. "They should be bowing, not resisting." But humanity wasn't bowing. And the word that had started it all, "No," echoed across the stars, a challenge that promised a fight unlike anything the galaxy had seen. The second wave of the Galactic Council's assault came faster than anticipated. Their ships, massive crescent-shaped constructs bristling with alien weaponry, adjusted tactics, moving with the precision of a swarm guided by one mind. Earth's defenses were pushed to their breaking point, but humanity refused to falter. In the orbital command center, Lena Marsden watched the holographic map of the battle unfold. Red markers, representing enemy ships, vastly outnumbered the sparse green blips of Earth's fleet. "Status report," she demanded, her voice cutting through the tension. "They're testing us," Ravi Shah replied, his hands flying over a console. "Probing for weaknesses. They've adapted their energy shields. Our weapons are barely scratching them now." "Then we adapt faster," Lena shot back. Ravi didn't respond immediately. He was already thinking, his brilliant mind leaping ahead to possibilities. The wreckage from the first wave skirmish had provided a treasure trove of alien technology, though much of it was still incomprehensible. One piece, however, stood out, a device that emitted a pulsating energy field. "I need time," Ravi said at last. "If I can reverse engineer this, we might have a way to punch through their shields." "You've got 6 hours," Lena said firmly. "That's not 6 hours, Doctor." Ravi sighed, muttering something about impossible deadlines, but he was already walking briskly toward the lab. Meanwhile, Jack Carter's strike team was preparing for another mission. The rough-and-tumble squad of misfits and ex-soldiers shared a dark humor that belied their lethal efficiency. "Listen up," Jack began, his tone casual but commanding. "The big brain in the lab says the Council's logistics are their Achilles heel, so we're going to make their supply lines disappear. Think of it as guerrilla warfare in zero-G." One of the younger operatives raised a hand. "What if they catch us?" Jack grinned, his roguish charm on full display. "Then you do what I do, lie, cheat, and shoot your way out." The team chuckled nervously, but Jack's confidence was infectious. He turned to Lena on the comm link. "Marsden, you better have something shiny for me when I get back. These hit-and-runs are getting dicey. Get it done, and I'll see what Ravi can cook up for you." Lena replied. "Promises, promises," Jack quipped before cutting the link. Aya Nakamura, seated in a quiet corner of the command center, was lost in thought. While the others focused on physical battles, she saw a war of ideas taking shape. The Council didn't understand humanity, they couldn't. The alien fleet operated on cold logic, efficient and calculating. But humanity thrived in chaos, turning weakness into strength and finding meaning in adversity. Aya leaned forward, activating her console. She began curating a new broadcast, one designed to confuse and destabilize the enemy. Instead of music and art, she assembled a series of moments that defined humanity's resilience. Footage of explorers braving uncharted seas, scientists solving impossible equations, and revolutionaries standing against tyranny. When Lena passed by, she glanced at the screen. "Is this going to work?" Aya didn't look up. "It's not about winning them over. It's about making them doubt, even for a second." "Doubt won't destroy their ships," Lena said. "No," I agreed. "But it might make them hesitate. And hesitation can be fatal." 6 hours later, Ravi emerged from the lab, looking like he hadn't slept in days. His team had rigged the alien device into what he called an adaptive pulse cannon. It wasn't pretty, cobbled together with duct tape and earth tech, but it worked. "This is either going to save us," Ravi announced, "or blow up in our faces." Lena studied the device. "What are the odds?" Ravi shrugged. "Do you want the optimistic version or the honest one?" "Just get it to the front lines," Lena said. As Jack's strike team launched another raid on the Council's supply ships, Ravi's invention was deployed aboard Earth's remaining capital ships. The next clash began with a ferocity that exceeded all prior battles. The Council's ships unleashed waves of energy blasts, hammering Earth's defenses. Then the adaptive pulse cannon fired. A bright surge of energy erupted from one of Earth's ships, slamming into a Council cruiser. The alien shields flickered, destabilized by the pulse, and a barrage of missiles followed, tearing through the cruiser's hull. In the command center, cheers erupted. Ravi leaned back in his chair, exhausted but grinning. "It works." "Don't celebrate yet," Lena warned. "We've got a long way to go." As the battle wore on, Aya's broadcast reached the Council fleet. Zirekthal watched the strange human imagery with growing irritation. "What is the purpose of this nonsense?" he demanded. A subordinate replied hesitantly. "It appears to be a form of psychological warfare. They celebrate their chaos." Zirekthal's mandibles clicked in frustration. Chaos was anathema to the Council's structured existence, yet the humans wielded it like a weapon. "Fools," Zirekthal hissed. "They will learn that defiance has a price." The Council sent reinforcements, but the tide of battle was shifting. Humanity, with its ingenuity and unpredictability, was proving to be a far more formidable opponent than expected. In one particularly daring mission, Jack's team managed to destroy a key fuel depot, forcing several Council ships to retreat. "You're welcome," Jack said smugly over the comm as his ship docked at the orbital station. "You're late," Lena replied dryly. "I brought you a souvenir," Jack said, tossing her a piece of alien tech. She caught it, smirking despite herself. By the end of the second wave, Earth had survived again. Ravi's pulse cannon had turned the tide, Aya's broadcasts had sown confusion, and Jack's raids had crippled the enemy's logistics. In the command center, Lena gathered her team. "We've bought ourselves time, but this isn't over. They'll adapt to us like we've adapted to them." Aya nodded. "Then we need to be ready with something they can't predict." Jack grinned. "You mean like us?" Lena allowed herself a small smile. "Exactly. The battle wasn't won, but for the first time, the Council's invincibility had been shaken. Humanity wasn't just surviving. They were fighting back, and the galaxy was beginning to notice. The Galactic Council's flagship, Eclipse of Reason, hovered in Earth's orbit, a monstrous construct of gleaming black alloys and pulsating energy conduits. It was a symbol of inevitability, a fortress that had crushed countless rebellions across the stars. Now, it served as the nerve center for the Council's escalating assault. Inside the orbital command center, Captain Lena Marsden leaned over the holographic battle map, her expression grim. The Council's third wave was poised to strike, and Earth's forces were running out of time and resources. "Options," she demanded, her voice sharp with urgency. Dr. Ravi Shah, hair even messier than usual, didn't look up from his terminal. "We're hitting a wall. Their fleet's adapting faster than we can counter. The pulse cannon worked for a while, but they've already recalibrated their shields." Aya Nakamura frowned, her mind racing. "Then we need to do something they won't expect, something they can't adapt to." Jack Carter, lounging in a chair with his usual irreverence, raised an eyebrow. What, like send them a fruit basket? Maybe some Earth chocolate? Aya ignored him. No. We make them question their entire strategy. Their identity. Lena crossed her arms. Explain. Aya gestured to the console in front of her, where she'd been refining her broadcasts. They see us as chaotic, unpredictable, and weak. We lean into that. We show them a side of humanity they can't comprehend. Not just our creativity, but our capacity to disrupt their unity. Jack smirked. So, more poetry and cat videos? Not just that, I replied undeterred. We use culture, yes, but also subversion. We hack their systems, flood their networks with human perspectives, our defiance, our humor, our refusal to be broken. If we can fracture their cohesion, we'll create an opening. The plan took shape over the next few hours. Ravi would use salvaged alien tech to infiltrate the Council's central AI, which coordinated their fleet. Aya's broadcasts would amplify the disruption, bombarding the aliens with an overwhelming torrent of human expression. Jack, as always, would provide the wild card, leading a strike team to sabotage the flagship directly. This is insane, Ravi muttered as he connected the last of the hacked components to Earth's communication arrays. Jack clapped him on the shoulder. That's what makes it fun. The operation began under the shadow of the third wave's advance. As the Council's fleet closed in, Earth's defenders launched a desperate counterattack to buy time for the infiltration team. Jack's squad boarded the flagship, using a captured alien transport, their entry masked by the chaos of the battle. Remember, Jack said over comms, quiet and quick. We're ghosts until we hit the target. The squad navigated the labyrinthine corridors of the Eclipse of Reason, encountering resistance only when they approached the central power core. Alien soldiers, tall and insectoid, hissed and clicked as they charged. Jack's team fought with brutal efficiency, using Ravi's reverse-engineered energy weapons to cut through the enemy. Amid the chaos, Jack found himself laughing. You know, he said into the comms, for a bunch of hyper-advanced aliens, they're really bad at ducking. Focus, Carter. Lena's voice crackled in his ear. Focused. Very focused, Jack replied, firing a plasma bolt that sent an alien sprawling. Back in the command center, Ravi and Aya worked frantically. Ravi's fingers danced over the controls as he navigated the alien network. I'm in, he announced, sweat dripping down his face. Good, Aya said. Start uploading the payload. The screens around them lit up as Ravi's hack took hold. Aya's broadcast began playing across the Council's fleet, a dizzying montage of humanity's most defining moments. There were images of great triumphs, moon landings, revolutions, artistic masterpieces, and of devastating failures. The contrast was jarring, designed to unsettle a species that thrived on order and precision. On board the flagship, Ziricthal stared at the chaotic feed with growing unease. What is this madness? He demanded. His subordinates hesitated. It appears to be a form of psychological warfare. They are proud of their imperfection. Jack's team reached the power core, planting charges as Ravi's hack reached its crescendo. Aya's final message played across the Council's communication channels, her voice calm but resolute. You see us as chaotic, primitive, unworthy, but our chaos is strength. Our imperfections make us adaptable. You came here expecting submission. You'll leave knowing what it means to fight humanity. Ziricthal's mandibles clicked in frustration. Fools. Their defiance changes nothing. But it was already too late. Ravi's hack spread through the flagship systems, creating cascading failures. Jack's charges detonated, shattering the power core and sending shockwaves through the fleet. In the command center, Lena watched as the holographic display showed the Council's formation breaking apart. Ships veered off course, colliding with each other as their coordination faltered. The human fleet surged forward, exploiting the chaos to devastating effect. We did it, Ravi said, slumping in his chair. Not yet, Lena replied. We have to finish this. On the flagship, Ziricthal struggled to regain control. The ship's lights flickered, and its systems sputtered. He turned to his officers, his voice a hiss of rage. Withdraw. Regroup. As the alien fleet retreated, Earth's defenders held their ground, battered but victorious. In the aftermath, Lena gathered her team in the command center. "We've proven we can stand against them," she said. "But this is just the beginning. They'll regroup, and we need to be ready." Aya nodded. "They'll never understand us. And that's our greatest advantage." Jack grinned. "So do we get a medal or what?" Ravi smirked. "How about a week of sleep instead?" Lena allowed herself a small smile. For the first time in weeks, humanity had hope. The fight wasn't over, but they had shown the galaxy what it meant to be human. And the Council, for all its power, would think twice before underestimating them again.